What's happening? What's happening? Oh, I guess that's what's happening. Nevertheless. Interesting. So, anyway, I understand it's been a minute, and I haven't, released no insight of any of my study. Only because a lot of things, that wanted to become manifested had to be constructed, kind of like, you know, it's intricate shit, you know what I'm saying, that I'm working with, especially when the energy on the planet is telling me that, the cosmos is telling me to go slow with everything. You know what I'm saying? Only speed up when it's necessary, only speed up when necessary. And the thinking part is confusing, like, you know what I mean, in this minute or moment of structure within myself. The thinking part, sometimes I give too much thought to things. And I already understand that because the thoughts are really not your thoughts. You're pulling them in from the frequency in which you have allowed yourself to elevate to. Like if you turn the dial to 99.2, you already understand. You're going to pick up every frequency on there, which is one broadcast. But it's not one broadcast. You're going to hear many broadcasts on that frequency, that so-called hertz, that wave. All right? So that means you do have to go lower, because you're going to hear those frequencies. You can hear a frequency is quietness, all right, undisturbed, and then something comes in, and with the amount of frequency it comes into that darkness upon a computer stream, infinite darkness, something causes a frequency. So let's just say a bird, it says what it says, whatever type of bird it is, makes a noise. It'll light up on there. You won't see a bird, but you'll hear the frequency and the adjustments of lines and colors, right? It don't pay attention to it, whether it's a bird or not. The frequency that comes into the infinite black is seen as, let's just say, okay, we're gonna have a computer stream that's all black, and we're gonna put blips on there, and each blip is communicating in pulses like this, right? So now we just see blips, but these blips are people, right, or humans, or mortal beings, or not, all right? But we perceive through the Nebuchadnezzar that these ones are what it is, whatever that is, okay? So we continue to look at these blips. Now we can see this blip over here is extremely high frequency, all right? That's all we can see, the blips, the energy. All right, over here is low over here, and there's a conjugation of middle frequencies here, with some sporadic in there that's impulses is very low. And in the color or in the thermal, it will look even different. You understand? So you see the thermal, all right, you see the heat temperature, you see the frequency in the black. You don't see nothing else. You don't see people, you don't see the plants, you don't see the trees, you don't see the cars, you don't see nothing. You just see blips blinking. Now we're in the frequency mode, all right? This is my thought, all right? You ain't gonna find it in no book. If it makes sense to you, grab a piece, whatever piece you hear at this moment or beyond, and take it with you. And to the best of your ability, build on it, all right? Period. Don't worry about positive and negative. The frequency runs together. You can't hook up a lamp without the positive and the negative. So the Kundalini uses the positive as well as the negative to project your energy. Nevertheless, you know what's right. There is no wrong, because you only have a right and a left. Now we know the left ain't wrong, but we know it ain't right. Right? All right. I'm not telling you something that you don't know, and I'll never do that, because what I perceive certain things. Oh, let me explain this, sir. I ain't saying too much about the Black Panther. I don't want to get off base, but I am saying something about the Black Panther. All right? But I'm not projecting it as no type of spell, motherfucker. And I am saying something about hand power. I am saying something about hand power. Not necessarily black power. Where is your mind at? Stop formulating structures to what you have been told they are and perceive it as an update from that goddamn time all the way up to until the so-called time of 2018. Look at the car how it looked back then. Look at the car how it look now. What has changed? Your ass has not. Now, or our minds have not. All right? Nevertheless, y'all, I'm your brother. Am I? I'm a light being. Am I? Come on. We just gonna build with whatever better wisdom and better advice gives to us, you know. Nevertheless, where were we? Where were we? So I didn't want to start talking about this. So much that I want to give to you in little increments. All right, these blips, right, is energy. Now, let's get to a source of negative ions and positive ions. Well, check this out. What I figured out is, which everybody else figured out, negative ions or negative electrons is on the outside. They're the only ones that can jump to orbit. They are the only parts of the so-called so-called atom, all right, to jump its orbit. And it only jumps its orbit, not like a shell around me. It's only going to jump its orbit due to the excitement of the inner standing of its being in nature in order to show the frequency blips in the dark, all right, upon that stream that shows no body, just its frequency, all right. So nevertheless, okay, so, but the positive, right, the proton and the neutron is supposed to stay in the middle, right? It's supposed to remain in here. So it means it cannot move. The positive ions are not moving. But when I was doing the negative ion generator, it can be reversed, and the mechanism itself can shoot out positive ions. But if positive ions can be generated out, then guess what? That is a lie, according to their standard, because the positive cannot move because it's intertwined with in the nucleus. You understand? So it's something unbalanced there. So check that out anyway for y'all who move forward. Listen. So it's only showing its projection through its energy, right? All right? And it's only going to vibrate only if the negative ion or electron jump its orbit. If it's not going like this, on a blip scale, you like this. Now, this is a body. Forget your language. This is a ship, all right? Forget its course. This is light. Has no direction. It's omnidirectional, right? We talk about north, south, east, and west. In what state of mind do we conceive these things? Nevertheless, I'm not here to confuse you. I'm here to have you to think. And it does nothing bag me but my thoughts, period. I'm not, listen, I have studied myself and it's so intriguing that I must share it with you, simple, all right? That's it. So, now, what must the body do? If this is a machine, how does it work? Sit down, how does it work? How do you make it move? How do you get the electrons, the negative electron, how do you get the negative ion to start pulsating? We talk about vibration. How do you get it to move? It can be through sound. But that's light. Check this out. We're going to go into the realm of the only realm that we can go to. Matter of fact, the first realm, well, maybe not first, but nevertheless, the only realm that will be acceptable without being stupidly ignorant to what you may find out when you study this. All right? So nevertheless, we are talking about controlling the movement, all right, of the negative ion. Now, let's get straight to it and straightforward. When a man and woman is having sex, so-called, all right, I'm gonna speed this up. It's having sex, right? What's moving? All kind of shit, right? All kind of shit is moving quick, fast. In the heat, you know, atoms speed up in the heat. Now, how hot you think a couple is when they're together? Or either by themselves? How hot, how much energy you think that the normal speeds up to when it jumps its orbit and become a photon and start vibrating like this, right? Now, check this out now. On the masturbation tip, right? It's called masturbation, right? Look, it's called masturbation, right? But they this here. They say, don't play with that. You'll go blind. They told us that about the sun, right? We found out that shit was a lie. Correct? Right? 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 Okay, listen. I'm not going to become an asshole, all right? All right? For real, for real. But that's how you can increase your photons, because it's damn sure excited. The negative electron, negative ion must jump its orbit to be fruitful and multiply. And multiply has many different dimensions. If you look back in my other videos, there was some man in there that he says, in order for Chinese man, I believe, from an era, I have no knowledge. Listen, Oriental, Asian, okay? He said the cells must split, and the only way they split is by sexual arousal, excitement, or ejaculation. After every ejaculation, your cells and your DNA splits. Your cells and your DNA splits. We talk about different DNA strands. Be fruitful and multiply. We talk about we had 2 and 3 and some got more. When the photon, all right, when the light of the negative electron jumps its orbit, it makes a photon. You know what I'm saying? In some people's videos, you can see the light changing and shit, whether they know it or not. Sometimes I don't be knowing it in my shit. You know what I'm saying? I tried to control the light in here today. I tried to make it low so you can see any type of change. But if I had it high, if I open those curtains, it'll blaze high, but I don't like it to blaze high shit. But nevertheless, look. So anyway, you check it out. But you must move like this. Well, there's so much I got to tell you. But you can read between the lines and pick it up for yourself. If you study this, you'll come into doors and you'll be like, God damn, crazy shit going on here. You know what I'm saying? This right here, I mean, we knew how, back to where I was at. So, when these photons get to jumping, through excitement, you're moving your ship. They call this the joystick. Look, it is many books, many movies. You say, the movies, you know, they do reveal the truth. Well, remember in Demolition Man, the sex in the so-called future, right? So-called ahead, right? So-called directional. Listen to the word direct. They got die and wreck in it. Direct. Nevertheless, in that movie, it stated, well, Sandra Bullock, however you pronounce that last name, no disrespect to anyone. Nevertheless, and Sylvester Stallone, they sat down, they was going to have sex. He said he was back, you know, he just became unfrozen or whatever, right? Unfrozen. Listen, he was unfroze. They had to defrost his ass, right? Meaning unfreeze his ass, right? Thaw him out, right? Right? He was froze. He couldn't move. No vibration. But very little. Just enough to keep the vital organs and the sustainability. All right? So they had to activate him by unfreezing him and took him to the sex, right? And so while having this, right, in mind, they put on them helmets, and what happened? What happened? They were stimulated, and he was like, what? And she like, so they was both led to a climax, right? Through a masturbation, but through an artificial simulation. Right? You get it? Remember in the Oracle, they had powers because they knew how to control their ship. See, the ultimate power is the sexual power because it brings forth the life. But remember, the womb is another matrix. And not only that, while you're in the matrix, you are to release your energies into your auric field that can only attribute its forces to you on the outside of you. You said you believe in spirits, right? How about you believe in your power that you generated and sent on missions after mission just to protect an energy field that surrounds you? And you command it. And it has to listen. What? The jinn and the angels? What the so-called angels, angels of light? You know what I'm saying? They hear and obey. Right? They hear and obey. The jinn said I will not obey. Nevertheless, but he still obeyed because it's nothing that wasn't considered slight. All right? Period. You know, if you just get out of the realm of saying, yeah, that's what they said, skip all that. You ain't said shit. So say what you got to say, at least to yourself. Don't project yourself as a product, motherfucker. But if you do, that's cool, that's good. In certain areas, that's great. That's great, that's great, that's great. Not saying nothing wrong about that because one way cannot be the way for all things. All right, period. Case closed, you know what I'm saying? I am not here to wreck, direct, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get me together and talk to you while I'm doing it. All right, so this energy vibrations, you know what I'm saying? The Chinese or Asian or Oriental man said that you only get this energy through sexual arousal and ejaculation. All right, and love. But now love is a feeling. It's not straight energy. So you could be a human, but if you got a lot of love in your heart, you making the same energy flow. See what I'm saying? But now if you know and don't subscribe to the tenets of love, all right, you must work with energy. You must work with your energy, your inner God, your inner creator, your inner destroyer. Okay? And I can already jump into the future and say, and already see a person saying, this nigga has just told everybody this, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not telling nobody nothing, nigga, or niggeress. No, I'm just tripping. Brothers and sisters, guys, goddesses. I'm not conforming shit. I'm just studying myself. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back to studying or observing, you observing me studying myself, right? Through something called masturbation, right? Now, the reason why it was a must to do it, and it wasn't nothing like I stumbled on into this. I just stumbled onto it. Didn't read no book to direct me. I knew of, they talk about in the esoteric teachings about who said this and just that, but never read their books. But I stumbled into it. You know what I'm saying? I stumbled into this, and while certain things, you know, listen, what's the frequency of the pyramid? It don't go on, it don't. It go, oh. Now that was a speed up, but it actually vibrates a little bit more in between the, it seems like a cripple wave, a ripple wave, real thin ripple wave, all right, with, oh, that's the energy that keeps things clean inside the pyramid. Now when you, let's say the frequencies that come through the phone on certain things, they say if you replicate that, you can give off the same energy to create whatever it is or whatever channel they was trying to, like unlimited data and shit, all that type of shit. Well, the only thing you have to do is reduplicate it. Now, what type of birds bring certain frequencies? You duplicate their chirping. You just go on the internet, Google this, and have the frequency of the cardinal in your house just by playing it, all right? Because energy is energy, whether it's replicated or not, okay? So, when you are discovering yourself, man, it's only one big thing. But now you have to use your own head. I can't give you no goddamn instructions to this. All right? I can't give you no just. First of all, if you got a whole lot of bullshit in your head, you know, you watch TV, you listen to radio, you got a lot of friends that everything they say is humans. You know, no higher element, you know what I'm saying, just normality of folks. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing bad, it's just the bubble or the energy field that we are in. You know what I'm saying? Some animate frequencies higher than others. Simple. Forests, trees, everything, herbage, everything's everywhere. All right. Now listen, if you're surrounded by all that type of shit, man, you have a problem, and it might fuck you up. So I wouldn't advise no study. All right. Not in that field. You must do some things other first, and whatever that is, you will find out as soon as you get to it. Nevertheless, on that path, on that journey, or in that thought. So anyway. Those who have been away from the TV, been away from what's the name, they vegetarian or vegan, or I ain't gonna say these titles because sometimes I may motherfucking pick up a goddamn burger only because I'm out. You know what I'm saying? But we can sustain that shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't eat that shit daily. You know what I mean? So don't fret and don't say what the fuck you is or ain't. We just is, motherfucker, and we know we take the best route to sustain ourselves. Simple. You know, anyway, everything ain't got to be too damn complicated. You know, especially when you're trying to understand self and you know positive is necessarily needed as well as the negative. So do not be hard on yourself and throw them morals. Well, I'm not telling nobody, but I have took my morals and threw them away. When I say no shame, no fear, no guilt, I don't mean don't give a fuck. I mean don't do nothing that you should fear shit. Don't do shit that you should have to even think about fear. Don't do shit that you should even have to think about shame. Now, understand that one. See what I'm saying? That's the power behind studying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Studying your goddamn self. Have no fear or shame in studying yourself. Who you hurting? Study yourself. All right? And no guilt. No guilt. No guilt. You understand? A lot of brothers and sisters and a lot of us, I'm going to tell you how I think, all right? Now, right or wrong, it's me, and I can only be true to myself. So that's why there's no instructions in this shit, all right? None. All right? Check this out. What was that? Guilt? Guilt. Yes, guilt. Let's say we learn from our mistakes. How are you going to perceive guilt? A lot of people speak about balance. But listen, balance is balance. But if I say a pound of bricks and a pound of feathers, you know the look on that. They're going to both be a pound. But the pound of brick is going to be very little and the pound of feathers is going to be very large. The sky, the so-called air, right? It must be 70 or something. It's not going to be correctly correct. But nevertheless, it's 70% negative ion, 30% positive ions. Look at the balance. See, the balance is 70-30. It ain't 50-50. It's not 50-50. That don't mean balance. That just means 50-50. 50% and 50%. But the balance could be whole as 70% and 30%. Or the look of the feathers against the look of the pound of brick. But they both gonna weigh the pound. But the balance is in what you're working with. You understand? All right? That's what I understand. And I'm here to share it with you. That's all. No teach up. I am not. I'm gonna start getting funny with shit, man. Because I found out it's an energy in comedy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people get stressed out with a lot of type of things they're hearing right now. See, I know it's an energy right now that's going to try to fuck with your head. Because as the energy increases on the planet, guess what, brothers and sisters? It's going to fuck with your head. So I advise you, don't watch a lot of YouTube. Shut it off for about a week or two. Stop doing and thinking about shit and just observe the shit that comes to you. You know what I'm saying? Cut that shit off. Because some of those is wizards. You know what I'm saying? And shit. And not even have the knowledge of it. Not even have the knowledge of it. Just like I could be considered one, all right? And not even have the fucking knowledge of it. But I know I'm coming from a core center and within self, studying my damn self. You know, understanding myself. You know, I want you to understand yourself. You know what I mean? And in ways that I'm just showing you. Just like Brucey said, I cannot show you. I mean, I cannot teach you. I can help and show you how you can find out and teach your damn self. All right, teach your damn self. Belief means you do not know. Every time you say, well, I believe, that means you don't know. And every time you open your mouth and say, well, this is how I think, that means you don't know. So sit down and question yourself, what do you really know? What have you really studied? You know, energy. If this is a macabre ship, if you are immortal, if energy is only produced by the photon jumping its orbit as an electron, you must learn. See, they know how to get to our feelings by watching the TV. And you'll see the baby get raped. And you'll be like, oh man, he did that. Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. But you'll sit there and watch this shit and then get mad at the niggas that's watching porn. But they ain't getting raped, nigga. They agreed to that shit. You'll sit there and watch a movie with your favorite actors in it, doing some dogged out shit. You'll watch and can't wait for one of the sisters to get butt motherfucking naked in a bed and then talk about the motherfuckers that got porn in their computer. And they studying self. Maybe. How the fuck would you know? Because you don't know until you know what the fuck it is you know. Get away from all that old stupid ass thoughts that's being constructed only to get you to go against somebody that got the right to do what the fuck they want to do in the comfort of their own goddamn home. A dog will lick his balls in front of your face, motherfucker. Now, I'm going to leave it there, man. I got shit to do. But I hope that insightful ingredient shed a little bit. I just had to throw this. I just had no intentions on doing this, but this is at you right there. All right, forward. Forward. No march. And I don't know why the fuck. Don't put this with nothing, nigga. This is an antenna. And I didn't even mean to do that. But nevertheless, the Spirit said do it. 3. Nevertheless, it ain't even 3. In the darkness, where's the 3? Remember them blips. It ain't nothing but frequencies coming from your ass. You know? And that TV will make you get, oh man. You know, your frequency is brought low. You know, you see all the killings and murders. Your frequency is now in fear mode. I mean, you gotta do this around here. Oh, nigga, we don't activate like that. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Characters are expressed in the same expression that you see on TV, just trying to perfect that character. So you're gonna meet the biggest boss. All that bullshit and all this, man. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, you not perceiving. Just like the dude that, Neo, when he went to get out the car. She said, and you've been down all those roads. I'm gonna expound more. You've been down all those roads, brothers and sisters. Goddess, you've been down those roads. And even if you haven't, you've seen those who have been down those damn roads. And you know the end, motherfucker. So you can jump in the future and project your own fucking ending. Get the fuck out of... No. I ain't gonna say get the fuck out of some Pacific. I'm gonna say get the fuck within yourself. Just go there. In the fortress of solitude. Alright? I got a video out there that got Superman in it. Dang, let me think about it. Let me recall what the name of it was, because it's very, very important right at this time. And it'll go good with it. It's got Superman. It says, I think it's melanin, the flat earth, and something. But look through my videos and put in melanin and the flat earth. Something like that. All right. And it's got Superman. I did a little putting together, taking Superman clips and putting them together. Very insightful. It's about crystals, where they're found, where it's cold, all this type of stuff. So get to the looking through that one. For real, y'all. Listen, pay attention more to yourself. When you hear stuff on this YouTube and shit, and you think it correlates and shit, That's because it slightly does, but it's not there to make you paranoid, get you stupid and shit. That means you are being programmed without even forces trying to program you. Do not allow that to happen. That's some bull. That's that energy raising. See, your energy is going to become very, very, to those who don't know, become chaotic. They may go crazy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Stupid as shit. The energy must be able to pass through you. You know what I'm saying? With least resistance. So you can't pay attention to all this bullshit. You can't pay attention to all this bullshit that you even hearing in your head. That's MK Ultra, motherfucker. They could take something and zoom it in on your house and shit, and throw all kind of frequencies through everything. Every appliance you cut on, and be throwing a frequency upgraded due to some other new type of shit that was thought and created by some motherfucking force. You know, but it only plays out in a natural force that we unaware of, and then you don't think. You say, what happened to that motherfucker? You know what I mean? Because he's paying attention to all this shit that's hitting all against his force field as he walks. You know what I'm saying? You know, it comes in on certain areas, but do not let nothing control you. Do not let nothing control you. You know what's right and wrong. No fear, no shame, no guilt. Do nothing that you should have shame of. That means go out and fuck with all kind of stupid shit. Do nothing that you should have shame of. Okay? Thought is different. Physicality manifests a different type of extreme shit. Leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? Listen, no fear. Do nothing you should be afraid of. Do nothing you should be afraid of. And what you do, fear not. No guilt. How you gonna have guilt if we learn from our mistakes? Take care. Forward.